So hello guys and welcome back to our YouTube channel Infinity Learning, and I am your host Abhishek Gupta. So in the previous video we just started the basic of the Java coding, and in today's video we are going to discuss about constructors in Java. So I hope you watched the previous video, and if you haven't watched it, I'll give the link in the description and also in the I button. So make sure you watch it first. So without further delay, let's get into the video. So before going into constructors, let us discuss the basic units of Java, or rather we can say object-oriented programming, that is the object and the class. Now, an object is an instance of a class. Now, what do you mean by an instance of a class? Simply, you can say that the object is the building blocks or the smallest unit of a class. And on the other hand, class is a template or a blueprint from which the objects are created. So you can say, for an example, that the class is a building and its building blocks, that is the bricks, are the object. So in this example here, it is clearly understandable that my class is the class, and the object which is created for the class, my class, is obj, and it is created inside the class. So obj is the building block or the instance of class, my class. Now going back to the topic of constructor, now what is a constructor? What we can call a constructor? So a constructor is a special type of subroutine or a method that is called to create an object. So basically, in general words, we can say that a constructor is a tool to create an object. Keep in mind that it is a subroutine, not a full program. It is a part of a code. And a constructor resembles an instance method in Java, but it's not a method. Like I said, it's a special kind of method. Not every method can be a constructor because it doesn't have a return type. That's the difference of a constructor with a method. Method have return types, but constructor don't have any return type. So in short, constructor and methods are different. So always remember that constructor is a special kind of method. So every method cannot be a constructor. We cannot call every method a constructor. So the definition of constructor and the differences of constructor and method leads us to the fact that what do we need to know about constructor. So next we are going to discuss about the rules of using a constructor, or rather you can say the properties of a constructor. So the first property is that the name of the constructor should be the same as that of the class name. So suppose if you keep your class name as demo, so the constructor that you will create in the class demo should also have the same name as demo. Then only it is considered as a constructor and it will work. The second property is a constructor cannot be declared as final, static, synchronized, or abstract. So like we generally categorize or declare any class or method like final, static, or abstract, we cannot do the same with constructor. We can declare it as int, double, void, anything, or you can just leave it as the name is. You don't need to declare anything. Now the third property is it cannot have any return statement, like I discussed in the definition part, that it is a special kind of method which do not have any return statement. And lastly, you can use the access specifiers like public, protected, and private with constructors. So if you see 2 and 4 are like connected, so you cannot use final, static, synchronized, or abstract with constructor, but you can use public, protected, or private with constructor. So a constructor can be public, protected, or private. So you need to keep in mind these 4 rules while using a constructor or creating a constructor. So we are familiar with what a constructor is and what are its property and how it should be created. So we should also know what kinds of constructors can we create or can we use. So our next topic of discussion is the types of constructors. So the first type of constructor is a default constructor. So a default constructor is a constructor which is undefined and has no arguments or any parameters. Basically what I'm trying to say is if you don't implement any constructor in your program, the compiler is smart enough and it will insert a constructor into your code on your behalf. So that type of constructor that the compiler automatically inserts in our code is what we call a default constructor. So that was for the theory part. Now let's understand with the help of an example. So this is a simple code using a default constructor that I have written. So here what I have done is I have created a class test, and before declaring the main method I have initialized two variables, that is int a and string b. So a will accept an integer value and b will accept a string. So after that I have created an object, that is t is the object for the class test. So we create an object using this syntax, test t is equal to new test. So you can in general write it as class name object name is equal to new class name. And so this is the format to create an object for a class. So after that I've done nothing, I've just printed the values of both the variables. In case of constructor or an object, how can we access any variable which is outside the code block of the constructor? So we can access it just by typing the object name dot the variable. It is as simple as this. Just type the object name and then type the variable, and you will get the value of that variable using the constructor. So you can see here, as the default constructor is defined, there is no predefined constructor by the user. There is not another class or any method named as test. There is only one single main class test. So what here compiler has done, the compiler has automatically created a constructor test which is a default constructor. So let's check this program if it's okay or not. So as you can see, the result is there. As both the variables were not initialized, they are showing that they are empty. So the integer value is 0 and the string is null. So you can see the code is perfectly okay, and you can see there is no constructor defined by us. So this type of constructor is known as default constructor. So the next type of constructor is known as the no argument constructor, or in short, no args constructor. So as the name suggests, it does not contain or accept any kind of argument or parameter. So basically we define this constructor, but we define it without any argument. So now let's see an example code for this type of constructor. So this is a simple example explaining the no argument constructor. So here I have created a class test1, and after that I have created a method named as display. So here I initialized an integer variable as 5 and string is this, you can see, and after that I have just simply printed the values of both the variable. Now how we can declare a no argument constructor? So after declaring the main method, just follow the same steps as we did in the default constructor. Type the class name and then give an object name is equal to new, and again class name and then parenthesis. And after that what you need to do is just type the object name dot and then the method name that you want to access. Like here the method that I have defined is display, so we are accessing display method for the object t. So t dot display. So by writing this command, what we will do, we will display every line or every value which is inside this display block of code. So let me just run this and see will it work or not. So as you can see, the code is perfect. It's giving the desired result. So the a value is 5, so it's giving 5 and no args constructor here. So the basic difference between the previous constructor and this constructor was that we didn't define any object or method separately for the default constructor. It was automatically done by the compiler. But here we have specified it, that what we need to do with the constructor or the object. Now the third and the last type of constructor is known as the parameterized constructor, and by seeing the name you all can say that it is that kind of constructor which will accept arguments. It can be one argument, it can be two argument, it can be 10 argument. It doesn't matter. It just accept arguments, and it can accept any count of arguments. So let's see an example code for this constructor too. So by looking into this code, you all can say one thing, that something is different from the previous two cases. You can see here that the class name is test2, and there is another method which also have the name test2, which is same as the class, which is one of the property of a constructor. So by this mean we can say that this is a constructor, and it is a parameterized constructor, because you can see here there are two arguments and both of them are of data type integer. So what I have done here is, after creating the class test2, I have declared two integer variable English and Hindi, and after that I have created a parameterized constructor named as test2, same as the main class, and it contains two integer arguments e and h. Now the values that will be passed to the constructor test2 will be stored in the variable e and h. So we need to store the value of e and h in English and Hindi. So I have stored the value of e in English and h in Hindi, and then I calculated the sum and then printed the total sum and a string that we have used the parameterized constructor. So this was all about the parameterized constructor part. So after defining the main method, just create an object for the constructor or class test2. So test2 object name t is equal to new test2, and now we are passing the parameters that we can see here in the constructor e and h as 85 and 90. So what this line will do, this line of code will pass 85 and 90 to e and h, and 85 will be stored in English and 90 will be stored in Hindi. And now it will calculate the sum 85 plus 90, and it will print the total sum. So you can see the code was very easy. All you need was to understand it properly. So let's run this code, and it's working perfectly. You can see it's giving the total sum 175, which is totally correct, and it's also showing the string that you used the parameterized constructor. So I hope you got the full concept of the constructors and the basics of class and object. Now here I forgot to describe one thing in the property section, that a constructor can be overloaded but cannot be overridden. Now what is this overloading and overriding? That's a topic for another video we will discuss in the later videos. So let's conclude this video here, and hope you guys liked it, and if so, please like and share the video to your friends who wants to learn this concept. And if you have any query or thoughts, let me know in the comment section. And if you like watching this kind of content on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to our channel. A sub will be massively appreciated, and I hope to see you in the next one. Till then, bye bye.